Hey, it's Rhianna. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit different because I don't really know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it or really anything at all, except for that I know that I want to talk about it. I do want to go ahead and give a fair warning that this is going to be a highly TMI video. I'm going to be talking about the female reproductive system and how it relates to me, my personal period and cycle information, all that kind of stuff. So if that's not something that you're interested in, I completely understand. Go ahead and just click on one of these other videos over here. There's a whole bunch of them that don't have anything to do with that. All right, and for everyone who has stuck around, let's go ahead and talk about it. So basically this video is gonna be me documenting the process and the diagnosis and the care of something that I found out yesterday when I went to the doctor. So yesterday I actually had a doctor's appointment because my periods have been crazy. So I'll try to sum up like my life as a female in like 30 seconds. I got my period when I was like 10 or 11, I'm not really sure. I honestly don't remember like how my cycle was up until I got on birth control. I was on birth control for a few years in high school because I had a steady boyfriend and we were sexually active. And I pretty much stayed on birth control until I was in like my mid-20s. So I don't know what my period would have done on its own, but because I was on birth control, it was regular. When I got off of birth control, at that point I was over 300 pounds and I pretty much stopped having a cycle. I would go months and months and months without it. I was diagnosed with PCOS and I would just have like random periods throughout the year, maybe some occasional spotting, whatever. I started losing weight. My periods started coming back just within the last year or so. They had gotten to where they were relatively normal. I mean, like 1 month might be exactly 28 days and it'd be perfect. The next month it might be like 45 days, but overall I was getting pretty consistent, like as far as having one at least every 2 months. In, I think it was January or so of this year, my cycles changed. I've always had very heavy cycles, nothing like really painful or anything like that, but just heavy. And I noticed, I think it was maybe, like I said, around January or so, January or February, they had started to, like I was really late. And then I started having what I thought was a period, but it was really, really light. And I was really confused. So I would have like one day where it'd be spotting and the next day would be nothing. And then it would go a couple of days, like maybe a super light flow or maybe like a normal flow, and then it would go away and it'd be gone for a couple of days, and then it would be spotting for a day and then come. I mean, it was literally, that's what I was going through. And it was, and I've been going through that for since March, and I just didn't really understand like why I had gotten so light and like what had happened to like my actual period. And I was noticing that like after I would have sex I would be bleeding, and sometimes after like bowel movements I would be bleeding, and if I had an extremely like physically strenuous day I would be bleeding. And so I was like, okay, I really need to get this checked out. But I kind of was putting it off. So then I was talking to one of my girlfriends and she was telling me some information about like her personal stuff, and like made me think, I really need to get checked out. So yesterday I had my appointment and I'm explaining everything basically that I just told y'all to the nurse practitioner. And she's like, okay, well, you know, you're a new patient, so I'm gonna go ahead and do, you know, a well woman's exam. So, you know, we go through that, and she goes to do like the manual part where she actually like feels my uterus, and she lets out an audible sound. And you never want to hear a doctor or anyone like that make a sound when they're doing an exam on you. So she starts asking me when my last woman's exam was, which it was actually last January 2018, so within the 3-year time frame that you're supposed to have it done nowadays. And she asked me where I got it done. Did the doctor do the same like manual where they feel your uterus or whatever? And I was like, honestly, I don't remember, you know, it was a while ago. And so she has me sit up and she tells me that my uterus is enlarged the size of someone who is 18 weeks pregnant. And there are polyps or fibroids on my cervix. And like, she seems really concerned. She does explain to me though that like it's not cancerous, like 99% of the time it's not cancerous, but there's definitely something wrong. It should have been caught at my last well woman's exam. And you know, she's pretty concerned. She goes ahead and gets the Doppler just to make sure that I'm not pregnant. She didn't see a baby in there. She took a bunch of blood work. I'll be getting a phone call to schedule an ultrasound, and we're following up with the OBG to figure out like where we're gonna go from here. So I finish up at the clinic. You know, I called Jonathan. You know, I'm talking to Jonathan. He's freaking out obviously because, you know, it's scary. And so basically what it sounds like is my uterus is full of fibroids. I mean, that's what I'm assuming is happening. I honestly won't know until I go back in. My follow-up is on the 28th. And so I'll find out more information then. But, I mean, like, the most common treatment is a hysterectomy. But that's usually for women who have already had children, like who are done having children. And obviously that's not the case for Jonathan and I. We're still hoping that, you know, I would eventually get pregnant. But this is definitely, this has to be impacting why I haven't been able to get pregnant yet. I mean, I've lost over 125 pounds and I honestly expected to have gotten pregnant by now, you know? And so it totally makes sense as to why I haven't been able to get pregnant. My cervix is blocked by a fibroid. So I've done some Googling. I've tried really hard to stay off of Google. It's not usually very helpful in this type of situation. But yeah, so this video is honestly just for me to talk it out. I'm sure there's someone out there who like needed this. I know that's how it always ends up working out. When you feel like you're alone, you know you're not alone. There's always people out there who are going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing. So if you need support, I can be your support system. I plan on documenting this process. I'm hoping, I'm very, very, very hopeful that this is going to lead to pregnancy. There is a possibility that I can have a myomectomy or something like that, which is where they just remove the fibroids. And if that's an option for me, then maybe that would mean that I would be able to get pregnant. So, but this is all, you know, like me Googling basically. Jonathan, like I said, is really scared. He's like, wants me to like follow him, and he wants, you know, he doesn't want me out of his sight because he's so worried that like, you know, it could be cancer. And I understand there's always that chance. But I feel like with this kind of thing, like with these like women issues, normally, even in the worst case scenario that it was cancer, they would just take everything out and you're usually fine. I mean, I understand that there are extreme cases, but I feel like I have faith that everything is gonna work out. I'm not stressed about my appointment, but I'm gonna try to stay out of my head because I feel like if I get in my head, then I will get stressed out. So I appreciate y'all letting me talk it out a little bit. If you're going through something similar and you want to follow along on this journey of mine, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button as well and the notification so you get notified every time I make a new video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a totally different video. Bye guys. So last week, if you didn't watch my weight loss Wednesday video, I'll have a link up in the eye. You can check it out. I have, I think I have a playlist